Why do we love? Riddles of emotions and human feelings. Love, in its many forms, is one of the most profound and mysterious aspects of the human experience. It is an emotion that defies easy explanation, one that transcends time, culture, and language. From poets to philosophers, from scientists to mystics, people have tried to define and understand why we love. Yet the question remains open, like an endless puzzle whose pieces shift and change as we explore it. What is love, truly? Why do we feel it so deeply, and why does it play such an essential role in our lives? In this exploration, we will delve into the many layers of love, its origins, its purpose, and the riddles it presents. From the biological roots of affection to the existential yearning for connection, love reveals itself as both a powerful force and an enigmatic emotion. As we unravel the threads of this complex feeling, we may find that love, in its deepest sense, is as much a question as it is an answer. The biology of love. Nature's design or human instinct. When we first ask, why do we love? One of the immediate answers comes from biology. Science tells us that love, in its most basic form, is rooted in our evolutionary history. Love, it seems, has a purpose in ensuring the survival of the species. The affection we feel toward a partner, the bond between parent and child, and even the camaraderie among friends, all of these emotions have biological underpinnings. Scientists have identified chemicals such as oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin as key players in the feelings associated with love. Oxytocin, often referred to as the love hormone, is released during physical affection, childbirth, and moments of bonding, creating a sense of closeness and trust. Dopamine, the feel-good chemical, is activated when we experience pleasure, such as when we fall in love or feel a deep emotional connection. From this perspective, love can be seen as nature's way of encouraging behaviors that promote bonding, reproduction, and social cooperation. But is love really just a matter of biology? Are we simply responding to chemical signals and evolutionary impulses? While the biological explanation offers valuable insight into the mechanics of love, it leaves much of the mystery untouched. After all, love is not just about reproduction or survival. The love we feel for a child is different from the passion of romantic love or the loyalty of friendship. And love often seems to defy logic, leading us to act in ways that go against our own interests. There is something deeper at work, something that transcends mere biology. The philosophical nature of love, desire, connection, and the human soul. From a philosophical perspective, love is far more than a biological function. It is a reflection of the human condition, a mirror held up to our deepest desires and fears. Plato, one of the most famous thinkers on the subject, saw love as a form of longing for the divine. In his dialogue, The Symposium, Plato describes love as a ladder of ascent, starting with the physical attraction to another person and leading ultimately to the love of pure beauty and goodness. For Plato, love is the soul's way of reaching for something higher, something eternal. This Platonic view of love sees it not just as an emotion, but as a pathway to wisdom and spiritual growth. Love, in this sense, is a force that draws us out of ourselves, connecting us to others and to the greater truths of existence. It reflects our desire to transcend the limits of the material world and touch the infinite. In loving someone, we glimpse the possibility of unity and harmony, of overcoming the isolation that defines so much of human life. Yet even within this idealistic view of love, there is an acknowledgement of its complexity. Love is not always pure or selfless. It is often mixed with desire, jealousy, fear, and even suffering. In the writings of the existentialists, love becomes a reflection of our struggle with freedom and individuality. Jean-Paul Sartre, for example, saw love as a conflict between the desire to possess the beloved and the recognition that the other person is free with their own will and autonomy. In Sartre's view, love is a paradox. We want to merge with the other, but we cannot, because love requires the recognition of the other's separateness. This tension between connection and individuality lies at the heart of the mystery of love. Why do we seek out love? Knowing it will inevitably bring pain, frustration, or loss. Perhaps it is because love, even in its imperfection, offers a momentary glimpse of something transcendent, a sense of unity, belonging, and meaning in a world where those things are often elusive. The psychology of love, attachment, and the need for belonging. Psychology offers yet another lens through which to examine the question of why we love. Attachment theory, developed by psychologists such as John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth, suggests that love is rooted in our need for connection and security. From the moment we are born, we are dependent on others for survival, and the bonds we form with caregivers shape our emotional development. According to attachment theory, the way we experience love in childhood influences how we approach relationships as adults. A secure attachment in infancy fosters trust and healthy emotional connections, while insecure attachment can lead to difficulties in forming and maintaining relationships. This psychological framework helps explain why love is so central to our well-being. We are social creatures, wired to seek out connections with others, and love is the most powerful expression of that need. But psychology also reveals the vulnerability that comes with love. Our need for connection can make us dependent on others for our sense of self-worth and happiness. This is why love can be so painful when it is unreciprocated or lost. When we love someone, we open ourselves up to the possibility of rejection, betrayal, or abandonment. Yet, despite these risks, we continue to love. Why? Perhaps it is because love satisfies a deeper psychological need for meaning and purpose. In loving others, we find a reason to live beyond ourselves. Love gives us a sense of belonging, of being part of something larger than our individual lives. It anchors us in a world that is often chaotic and uncertain. And even though love can hurt, the joy and fulfillment it brings make the risks worth taking. Love and the riddle of human emotion. Why do we feel so deeply? Love, at its core, is an emotion, one that evokes the full spectrum of human feeling. It is an emotion that can inspire joy and ecstasy, but also sorrow and despair. Why do we feel love so deeply? Why does it have such a profound impact on our lives? The answer may lie in the fact that love touches on the most fundamental aspects of what it means to be human. To love is to be vulnerable, to risk opening one's heart to another. It is an acknowledgement of our need for connection, for recognition, and for acceptance. Love reveals our innermost selves, exposing our hopes, fears, and desires. Yet love is also mysterious because it cannot be fully controlled or explained. It often defies reason, leading us to act in ways that surprise even ourselves. Why do we fall in love with one person and not another? Why does love sometimes fade, only to rekindle later? Why do we sometimes love people who do not love us in return? These are the riddles of love, questions that have no easy answers. But perhaps that is what makes love so powerful, its unpredictability, its refusal to be neatly categorized or understood. Love is not something we can fully grasp with logic or reason. It is a force that moves through us, shaping our lives in ways we cannot always anticipate. In this sense, love remains one of the great mysteries of human existence, an emotion that connects us to something beyond ourselves, the existential riddle. Is love the meaning of life? As we come to the end of this exploration, we are left with the possibility that love is not just a part of life, but the very essence of it. Why do we love? Perhaps because love is the answer to the question of why we exist. In loving others, we transcend the isolation of individual existence. We create bonds that give life meaning and purpose. Love is the force that connects us to the world, to each other, and to ourselves. It is through love that we experience the fullness of life in all its beauty and complexity. Yet love, like life itself, remains a riddle. It cannot be fully explained, only experienced, and perhaps that is the point. The question of why we love may never be answered definitively, but in seeking to understand it, we come closer to understanding ourselves. In the end, love may be the ultimate mystery, the one that defines us, challenges us, and reveals the depths of the human soul. It is the question that lingers at the heart of our existence, and perhaps it is the answer as well.